The human body is always doing miraculous things to keep us alive every minute of every day. For example, say if we just cut our finger now and it started bleeding, we would watch the blood stop after a few minutes, for example, and then after a few days the whole cut would heal. This is because the body is naturally wanting to find a balancing point, and that is a great example to use. The body doesn't fight against itself. The body doesn't produce these things. It is us. Because of the accident that we had, we produced a healing response had to be put in place by the body because of our accident that we've hurt our hand and created blood in the first place. So the body has had to step in and try and heal that. And that is the same situation for everything, every illness, every malfunction in life. The body steps in. The body steps in because it always wants to be in balance. Because if we think about it, when the cut is starting to heal, the body is doing trillions of things to try and heal that cut without us even knowing, without us even being aware of it. We don't have to do anything. We have to step out the way and let that happen. In fact, when we start getting in the way, covering up the wound, putting plasters on it and all that, obviously if it's a huge wound, we have to do something about it. You know, if it's gushing out, but if it's a little tiny little cut, it's best just to let it heal because the body knows exactly what it's doing all the time. And this is the same situation for everything, every illness. If we step out of the way and let the body do what the body does best, then that is where the true healing comes. I'll give you an example. If we are in a state of stress, we have a state of stress we're always doing, we're always having to be somewhere, we are stressed about our lives, stressed about what we're going to do, we are not eating well, we don't have a purpose, we are pumping our body full of artificial stuff, we are eating things full of E-numbers, we are never getting out in the sunlight, we are not drinking spring water, we are so caught up in this illusionary society. How is the body going to be in this balanced state? How? We get angry when the body becomes unwell, when it is our fault that it's becoming unwell. We have to thank the body's doing all these trillions of things to try and put itself back into balance because of our neglect of the human body and its natural capabilities. So it's our duty to step out the way. It's our ability, if we want to heal ourselves, to change our internal world, change our external world, and then we will see our bodies start to pick up the healing pace because then it has a natural balance to work with. If we step out the way and don't get in the way with all of the illusionary society that we're in, because what I like to call the illusionary society is the society that's artificial. And when we're in an artificial society, the body's going to become neglected and healing is going to be extremely hard for the body to do. It's always trying to do it, but it's going to become so hard for it to do. And this is when, because we keep neglecting it and neglecting it all the time, the illnesses get worse and worse and worse until these huge illnesses start to happen. And then we feed them all sorts of artificial substances again. And it gets worse and worse and worse until we die. So that's how illnesses work. It's because we get in the way of the body. Like I say in my course, I like to keep healing basic. I like to keep with a certain amount of essentials that we follow in day-to-day life. And it goes very deep to a spiritual level as well, healing. It's not just physical, it's about healing all the bodies. The physical body, the emotional body and the spiritual body. And they all have to be united first. To master the physical body is a must in this life. We're in a physical body, we're in a physical vessel for our soul to experience life. Therefore, physical health has to come first as a priority. We have to focus on that, because then we have mental clarity. We are more when we can bring purpose into our life, we can bring passion into our life, and then we have spiritual wisdom coming from that. But if we don't have the physical health, then how are we going to be spiritually enlightened, and how are we going to be mentally aware of life? We've been dumbed down because we've been physically dumbed down, and it's our fault as humans because we're letting it happen. If we become aware of what life is, and if we become aware of that we're a spiritual being living a temporary human experience, then we have a duty to look after our human body and to take responsibility for our own health, not to blame anything on the outside, not to blame our body attacking itself, because it never does. It's a lie. It's there to strip our power away. It doesn't work like that. The body never attacks itself. It wouldn't do that because it'd die, and it wants to be alive in a natural balanced state. So to be in an optimal state of health, we have to follow the basic principles of life, which is good quality foods, whole foods that I always go on about, whole foods, foods that are growing and grazing on the land and that aren't artificially produced. And then we need to follow all the other essentials, which is the basic things: sleep, sunlight exposure, grounding yourself to the earth, eating fresh produce from the earth. I've got some blackberries here which I've just picked, and they are beautiful. Some of them are bitter, some of them are sweet, and it's just perfect combination. And yeah, so then we need I've just dropped them anyway. So then we need purpose driven, purpose living, you know, so we actually have a purpose every day to wake up to. For me, I have a vision, and everything I do is contributing towards that vision. Right now, sat here on this tree talking, is contributing towards this vision. So we need a purpose. It makes us excited, and this changes the molecular structure of the whole body. It makes us so alive, so in tune with existence. Everything we do then becomes part of the vision. And we need a connection to ourselves. We need to know ourselves. And I talk again a lot more about this in my course, in depth, you know, over 3 hours worth of footage about healing and everything. It's You Are the Power, You Are the Power course, which is on my website. But I'm going to be doing a lot of free videos on YouTube as well. But that goes into a lot of depth on how to truly take your power back as a human. And like I was going to say then, to have a spiritual connection to yourself and to the divine, that is also how to truly heal your body and how to heal your spirit. That is one of the most important things, because I know the first basic principles have to be embodied first. All together, they can't, not one or the other. A lot of the time it's together to have a spiritual connection. But a lot of the time, if you're not balanced physically, your body's not behaving as it should. It's not in balance, so you struggle to concentrate, you struggle to step into the body. And therefore I do think quite a lot of the time that it is very important to focus on the physical body first and to make sure that's balanced, which is, yeah, like I've said, the eating, the outdoor exposure, the natural world. Immerse yourself in the true life, not the illusionary society all the time. Allow yourself to just take your shoes off and go for slow walks. Slow down the pace of life. It's the pace of life that is killing us. And this is why it's so important to slow down, because it slows the body into a state of true healing. The body has to keep healing fast all the time. It won't heal optimally. You have to slow down. Do things that set your soul on fire. Start incorporating things each day that you love, your passions. If you're not living your passions, what are you living for? Who are you living for? Are you living for other people? This all puts a strain on our bodies, a strain on our health. And this is why we're getting ill all the time again. Another reason, with so many reasons. But yet people are blaming external forces all the time because they can't be bothered taking their own power back. And you can't get away with it. You can't get around the fact that we're responsible for our own health all the time. We are responsible for our own lives. We came here alone and we'll die alone. We're responsible for our own life. That's just a fact of life. It's a law of existence. And we've been conditioned to believe that we have to focus our attention on the outside all the time, because how are we going to heal if we keep giving the power away to other people? That's how it's infiltrated then, and it makes matters worse. I'm not going to go into depth about that, because a long time ago, about 3 or 4 years ago, I got banned talking about all this. So I'm going to give you the information that can truly take your power back. But going back to the title of the video, is that to step back and to allow healing to take place. It sounds so simple, but it's actually it sounds complex, but it's actually very simple to actually step back, to allow life to do its course, to allow your body to naturally heal, is to follow the basic natural principles like I talk about, like with the food and the sunlight and the purpose and the passions and the drives, and don't get in the way. And by in the way, I mean over rationalizing things. Stop eating artificial stuff. Stop pumping your body full of awful things that I won't even mention because it'll get me banned again. Stop. Try and phase out any illusions in your life. If you work in a job you hate, get out of there. It's poisonous. It's poisoning your body. If you are doing anything you really doesn't feel aligned, stop, because this is all creating malfunctions. Get out in the natural world, get to know yourself, step out the way, surrender to life, surrender to the body's natural healing capabilities. And this is what I mean by letting go. This is what I mean by stepping out the way. The body then, when you're in that state of balance, or you're trying to get into the state of balance, the body naturally then can heal at a greater level. It is then, because if it's fighting other things that you're doing to it, it's not healing the thing that's the true issue. Then it's having to heal loads of different things, and it takes a long time, and it may never happen. But if you step out the way, you truly give the body a foundational root system to heal, then that is where the true healing comes from. It's just like a tree. If these trees behind me were planted on a rock, how is it going to grow to a massive size? How is it going to be at the optimal level it can? And there are trees actually grow on rocks. It came off the top of my head then, but you get the point. If this tree wasn't in the right soil, it wouldn't grow like it is now, like these massive oak trees and ash trees. And it's the same with us. If we're not giving ourselves the right soil, e.g. life, the right sort of lifestyle, then how is the body going to heal? Ask yourself these questions. So we need to strip our lives back to the basics and start again sometimes. It may be very scary, but it's an absolute must if we're to heal. Step out the way, create a different life for yourself. The life that you're living, if your body's out of balance, your life is out of balance. Therefore, your life is not aligned with your soul. So we have to strip it away, start again, start afresh. And identify which parts of your life are out of balance. Sit with yourself at night, an hour every night, and just think, which parts of my life are out of balance? Which parts of my life aren't serving me? And go from there. It's a step-by-step process, and it's a long process. It's a process of patience. But a quote that's always stuck with me is, it's better to go the long way around for a year than to risk stepping into a ditch. And I'll leave you with that quote. I'll see you on the next video.